All right, welcome again here to the stage C, the DS Smith stage. It's lovely to have you here, and I'm very pleased to introduce our next speaker, Andrea Monaci. He is the Marketing Director Cloud for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa at Hewlett Packard Enterprise. And he's going to talk today about the topic of how to communicate to clients, generate demand with your partner ecosystem in an innovative approach. So before I invite him up here on stage, just some background information on Andrea. He holds a degree in engineering as well as an MBA, and has a very strong sales-oriented background, having been in the consulting business for over 10 years. And he has also a very strong background in research and development, even holding some patents to his name. So I'm more than happy to welcome you here on stage, and yeah, give it up.
Thank you. Hello. So as an introduction, ich wünsche, dass ich das in Deutsch machen könnte, aber es geht nicht so einfach für mich. So I will do it in German. In English, because I did live in Germany for some years, in Mainz. So I would really love to do this presentation in German with you and for you, but it will last for too long and it will be too slow. So thank you very much for the introduction. The topic I'm going to talk to you about is nearly a follow-up from the presentation of before, because 3 or 4 years ago, we experimented with marketplaces, and we don't call them marketplaces, we call them ecosystems. And so I wanted to share with you this example of experience we did as we built a marketplace to communicate and generate demand with our customers, with our partners, in fact. So just very, very briefly, I think everybody here in the event has realized there's a lot of change in the tools that we're using to do marketing and communicate to clients and just generally interact with things and with people. And the department that I work for does marketing for larger and smaller customers. We do cloud marketing. So we sell, in fact, the solutions of our partners, and some solutions also from Hewlett Packard Enterprise. But at the same time, we also have a list of, I call them experimental projects that we do to see if we can innovate the way that we sell. And so, for example, we have things that have to do with the idea economy, which basically means digitalizing everything that we do, so making a brochure more interactive by augmenting it with information, or walking by a stand and something pings you to download more information, or if you talk to someone and scan their badge, then you'll get more information on the topic that you were interested in, and things of this type. And for example, I mean, it's also about, in fact, the Internet of Things, as even at this event, wouldn't it be fantastic, since we're all in a marketing community, that the people that you've interacted with, or the stands that you were at, those partners at the stand saw your customer journey and had trace of what you actually would be interested in a more augmented way, in a more complete way, so that they could serve you better. So basically what I'm trying to say is there's still a lot of opportunity for companies that work in the marketing to take advantage of this new economy of things. Okay, but to come back to the topic, I have this very oversimplified image of the way a conversation with a partner goes. And every time I show this picture, people in the audience start laughing. And at the same time, I think this is humanly what happens. And we've been spending all this time to try and make this humanly interaction a little bit more digital, but we're still not perfect. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. There's a customer that, like at this event, is looking for a solution to a problem that he has. It might be shipping, it might be working with their cart. More simply, it might be search on a web page, searching for a good article. And of course, there's somebody who's trying to sell something. And typically that's you, or you're selling the products of someone else. So you're working with a partner. In fact, typically, in the old world, there'd be a person, and that person would have a knowledge of what someone selling, and on the other side, talk to a customer and match the two together. So it's sort of a dating game, right? Based on what you need, we were gathering all this customer information, and then at a certain point, we have a lot of partners who are selling things, and we're doing that matching game together. And ideally, if we're doing that with partners, what the partners are really interested in is all the leads that come through the system. So the ideal situation, for at least for a company like us, is that this conversation happens under a unique brand. So this whole conversation is like the example of eBay before. eBay is the brand. eBay is the thought leadership that makes the conversation happen. So the customers of eBay grow. But in fact, eBay has a lot to thank to their partners, because the partners are the ones that offer the skills, offer the product, and actually do the sale. So that's the model that in fact we tried to replicate. And in digitalizing this journey, of course, there's a number of issues, because if you try and do it ideally, it's not just about the website. It's not just about the website. The website is easy. It's interacting. It's everything that goes along the website. So there's the Internet of Things, meaning at an event, someone comes by your stand and you scan them, and that's customer information, and you want to keep track of that. There's artificial intelligence, so there's things like why would I have a person interact with the customer when I can very simply use a bot to do that and gather some simplistic information? Why would I fill out a form if I can simply ask questions to the customer and fill in the form with a chat? And so on. And there's also the fact that let's say a lot of partners need help in becoming more digital in what they sell. So there's these difficulties, and at the same time, of course, there's opportunities. So there's all this digitalization of information, which we all know about, the acceleration of getting in contact with the customers through social media and so on, but also some new marketing tools like inbound marketing, which I'm sure, how many of you know inbound marketing, just as a test? Okay, yes, not even half. So inbound marketing in simple words is use your partner's content or use your own content from an expert to communicate it to a customer because it's more authentic of experience that you've done, for example. So let's say one of your customers has implemented a virtual reality solution for another customer, then maybe that partner can write about that experience, and you can promote it to your customers, which will then like it and interact with it, and then you will lead them back to your partner. And in all of this, there's the customer journey over and over again. It's not just about the cart, it's about what's the next offer that I can do because I've gathered all that information. So we thought, is there a way to take advantage of all this new piece and apply it to the model of the slide before? And what we came up with was, this was 4 or 5 years ago, as in fact an experimental project of grouping all our partners together in what we call the digital ecosystem of partners. And we centered it around innovation because you need a topic on which you want to lead. And we decided to communicate that relevant, innovative experiences to our end customers, to our joint customers, in fact, under our brand, so that we could get that engagement. We made sure on the other side that our partners were skilled in the art, right? So that we were not just getting anyone to give us information, so there needs to be a little bit of quality around that. And in fact, what we gave them back was the leads and the contacts of our customers. And that was the objective. So the way we've done it, and of course this is done with an IT system, is the first thing is we created a community of partners. Of course, there's an offering for them. So to join, they do get a number of advantages. So first of all, we meet 2 or 3 times a year. We meet together. We show them a number of tools that they have to market together with us. We actually create visibility for them. So we invest, let's say, in our brand, but in their content. And we actually built out a couple of social media communities, one in LinkedIn and one on Twitter, to communicate to and with them. And then the second thing we did is, of course, we needed to have a place where customers could actually find us, and that is the website, because that's the way we've built it out, of course, because e-commerce happens on a landing place, which is the website. But we also built a lot of communication around that to promote the site, which means under the banner of no email marketing. So we try not to send any emails at all to people because they bug. That's also an innovative piece of the program. And with the social media, we do most of the marketing of the site. And of course, we trace customers back. So in the middle, in fact, sits the service hub, which holds in all the partners, and it holds in also the services that the partners have. And it is the landing place where there's, let's say, the implementation of partner pages, of the partner offering pages, and the whole lead system where they can input their content, input their offerings, and then where we promote it and we track through the customers to share that data back with our partners. So that's what we did. And I do want to show you, there we go, just a couple of results. So one very important, so this slide we're sharing because it took us some time to get there. And of course, we chose a way to measure our progress. And so I thought I would just share it with you. So this is, just so that it's very clear, we have done this with zero media budget, zero. So we did not invest, let's say, in promotion. Right? So it's completely organic. The fact that you can see the partners grow today, there's around 750 partners on the site, which basically have given us their logo, and we do co-marketing with them. So we brand under the same logo, and we advertise our services together. Their offerings, you see, are more or less 10 offerings per partner. So they decide what it is that they want to promote, and that's the way they do it. Then what you can see here is the number of new, we call them email addresses, but in fact it's a customer ID, it's a bit more complete. But it's the number of new customers that we have acquired through this process. And the numbers may not look big, but these are B2B customers. So there's a little bit more engagement and gathering of customer data when we act with them. And then here, I mean, you're more than able to read them on your own. So we generate 20 pieces of relevant content every month. Again, we don't spend $1 on that. It's just the community that builds out this content. There's a number of partners that actually build out tweets and post with us. So of that 750, there's a certain amount that do a serious communication plan with us to spread the word. And there you can see also the engagement on that. And then you can see the side hits have been growing enormously. I think without any media spend, we've made significant progress. And then, of course, ultimately what counts is the visibility of the partners. And you can see that in the hits to their pages, and also, of course, to the number of sales leads that we pass over to them per month, which have significantly grown in the last period. All right, so just a little bit of, how can I say, of lessons learned for us. Because how many of you actually have a partner network that you sell with? Could you just raise your hand? Not so many, yeah. So, in fact, this whole initiative is very driven around partners, but we discovered in the meantime that it's also very good if you have your own complexity, or you're working with some other people, right, which I would call partners, but maybe you wouldn't call them sales partners, or even your own employees. So basically, we noticed if you're doing it with a partner, one of the big problems that companies have is co-marketing. So, how do we share together the amount of investment that we do together on joint business? And typically, this is done in a traditional fashion with a lot of brochures and printing co-branded material and things like that. Now here, it's been completely transformed to digital, so it's completely tracked. And here you can just see some of the things that happen. So, for example, all the co-branding assets that once upon a time we used to produce, we now do that completely in digital. Everything's co-branded from the start, and nobody actually needs to worry about it. So it's an expense that basically just went away completely. The same for inbound marketing. So once upon a time, we used to produce a lot of content for our partners. Now it's the partners who are producing the content for us. And they're very happy to do that because it promotes them. So again, a big change. A lot of advantages on social media, because now, as there's many of us that are doing social media, it's not just our company. Of course, the word spreads a lot more. Now we're tracking basically everything. We couldn't do it before, especially when we do investments together with partners for demand generation, so generating leads, even events. Whereas once upon a time, we would give them the money and hope for the best. Now there's really a way to track the engagement and also to share the customer data. So that's another advantage that we saw as we implemented it. In fact, the sharing of the contact data, we have some terms and conditions that the customer needs to accept that enables us to share some of the data with partners and manage that sharing together. And then, of course, what we have is also all the lead tracking system and the customer journey that is shared with the customer, but it's also available to us as a company to make sure we're tracking what the customers really want and choosing, therefore, the right partners. Okay, so at the end, that last line, for those of you who don't know what MDF is market development funds. Typically, that's the investment that our company would do together with a partner where we pay 50% each, for example, to go and do some of these initiatives. And basically, we cut that investment in half. So again, it's a big saving for a situation like this. Okay, and the interesting thing is we got a lot of attention from the analysts. In fact, I've left some comments here from the most known, at least in our IT industry, which is from 451 Research. So this community that we created in cloud, it's called cloud28plus.com, has become the biggest cloud aggregator in the last 3 years. And as I said, we didn't really invest at least not in promotion, to get that done. The other interesting thing is that it was a very good message to be able to launch an initiative that was involving our partners around innovation, because of course it qualifies you as a company, as an innovative company, even if the content comes from the ecosystem and not from us alone. So it's a way to lead an initiative with very low expense, involving and giving back to everyone at the end of the day. And there's one that I have not mentioned here. So Gartner now has written, in fact, a couple of papers mentioning us on marketplaces, because for B2B, let's say this is similar to a Google Play Store or to an Apple Store. There you go. So that's some experience shared. Of course, I'm more than available to chat about the experience, the solutions that we got, what software we used to do it, and what the issues were. You can just ask or ping me or LinkedIn me or whatever. Thank you very much. If there's any questions.
All right, thank you very much, Andrea. So we fortunately still have about 10 minutes time for questions, if there are some questions in the audience. If you have any, perfect. There you go.
Very nice, you did that. Just a question, I'm not too good with slides with numbers. So you had the blog slide with all the numbers, and it said you had 40,000 page views after 3 years?
Per month. So
per month?
Every month,
right.
We've got 40,000 page
right.
views.
How many leads were there?
It depends what you mean by a lead.
Okay, how many sales were there?
Exactly. So at the end, you can see the sales leads per month.
That's the
It's 500. Exactly.
I see.
So there's all the way in between, all right? Because we call, when a customer leaves us, their customer data, meaning email, address, name, surname. Typically, we also ask for the country because this is a European initiative. So we need the country to do a follow-up. We call that a response. So it's not a lead. And typically, yeah, I don't want to give you a number without looking at my numbers, but I can share it maybe with you of what that response is. At the beginning, it was very low because we were looking just for awareness, and then we changed some things. So we were gating a lot more assets, and it went up quite significantly. I think it's now, if I remember correctly, it's every 1,000 page views, you get one.
All right.
Yeah, so But it depends, because then if you do that, then less people start visiting your site because they can't see the content. So it's a bit of a trade-off. It's a bit of a trade-off.
All right, thank you.
It's a good question, anyway.
Anybody else has a question? That looks like all your guys' desires for information have been satisfied by you. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Vielen Dank. Have a good lunch. Vielen Dank.